Hi, I'm here presenting my capstone project for NMC CIT 110 Programming Logic Design by old Sebastian Lapointe. Alright, so this application is designed to be a basic messaging application. So simply there's a chat room that a set number of clients can join, which is dictated by the server. The server which is doing most of the work, is written in Python. Mainly because I wanted it to run on a Linux system, because that's all I have for it to run on. And it was just a lot easier to write in it. The server's not really too important. The only complicated part of the server was directly dealing with the client handling and having multiple people join and quit at any point in time, and that's what this little bit of code in the screen goes through. It wasn't too complicated once you got the quit statement set up in it, but besides that, yeah, it's just normal Python server, nothing too fancy. Okay, now we're going to the client, the C# part of this whole project. The only real hard part of this was dealing with the multi-threading that I need for the application to work properly, because having it single thread would cause the application to freak out in certain cases with the server handling and have incorrect timings on what it sends. And to fix the problem with the whole C# can't draw multiple console windows thing, I have it set up so you would launch two instances of the application, and you would dictate one to be the sending system, one to be the receiving system. All right, now we're moving on to the whole demo part of this, and for the live demo, we currently have the Python server running on a Google Cloud server, which surprisingly does limit us to mainly using port 80, because otherwise it will not want us to open any other ports for some reason. And after contacting Google, they never gave me a clear statement. So the Python server is going to be running on Google Cloud server running on port 80. Now I do have a monitoring tool I did write in Python just to act currently as our second client to the system. It's not really part of the Capstone project. It's just to show that the client actually works efficiently and that we can have communication back and forth between two systems. So we're gonna have the Python client connect. We're just gonna give it the name for right now, admin, just so we can identify it easier. All right. Now we are going to spin up the listener on this one because it's a console app. We're going to use mono project, mono capstone project.exe because it's the only way to get to work with the Linux system. We're going to make this thing the sender. There we go. Now we're going to set our name. We're going to make this, I'll just make it my first name. AN. All right, now look over here. It says I've joined the chat, but as you can tell, if I send anything from here, I can't see it over here. That's because we need to spin up the receiver. So in here, we're going to type in receive, and now we have the receiver client, which joins as another client to the session, just as a client message receiver. It can't talk or do anything. Typing on the keyboard does nothing, and that's because it's just to display your messages. So now if I go over to the Sebastian client, if I type in hi, it'll show up on this client. And if the administrator talks back and says hello, application also works. And the Python and the server over here deals with people disconnecting as well. So if I go over to the admin and I type quit, it's going to display to everyone else that the administrator, the admin, has left chat. And the server still stays active. The same can be done with the messaging client as well. Whoops, if I can type it right. And with the receiver, you can just close the window. It doesn't really matter for it. It just won't display the very nice message. And for future revisions, I would probably recommend making a GUI for it, because dealing with two terminal windows is a bit annoying, especially when you have to run two different instances of the application to make them communicate properly. So I'd probably write it in GTK3 or Qt compliant. If that fails, I would go with OpenGL or CL or maybe even Vulkan. Depends on what would be available at the time. And the second one would be giving the project a proper name, because it's currently just known as the Capstone Project on my GitHub. And that's the whole project. Thank you for listening.